Welcome to the Women's Health Community Podcast. We're here to remove the pressure of the gym bro culture within the health and fitness community. So if you're a wannabe muscle mummy like me, a Pilates princess in your running era, or simply a woman who values her health and fitness, this podcast is for you. Join us each week as we chat with inspiring and motivating individuals from all walks of life, sharing their personal journeys and practical tips for living a healthier and more fulfilling life. Welcome to the podcast. This is probably the most nerve-wracking thing that I've ever done in 5 years of running my own business, 5 years of being my own boss. This is the most nervous I have ever been. I'm probably going to one day look back on this podcast and be like, I sound like a little twat bag, but we're doing it. I've cock-blocked myself long enough and we're going through with it. So if you are new here, hello, my name is Georgia. I will be the host of this podcast for pretty much ever now. I'm never ending. I'm already obsessed with it. I've been nervous all day and now we're rolling with it. But I just wanted to intro this space to you guys, intro this brand, this community, and tell you a little bit more about what it's about, and then also give you some tips that apparently we still need to be remembering in 2024. So if you are new and you've never heard what the women's health community is about, we are a group of women who value our health, our fitness, our wellness, and actually love empowering and being supported and being a part of a group of women that actually want to empower each other, want to support each other, and want to be each other's best friends. If you see me looking to my right, I'm looking at Alex. I'm in the studio alone. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but we're slaying. He waved, but you can't see it. There he is. But yeah, so I have currently hosted 4 events. Our last event was our biggest and best event, and I think that is what really inspired me to get the fuck out of my own way and start this podcast. If you have followed me on Instagram for some time, you would know during COVID, during 2020, 2021, I would go live on Instagram with a different guest every week and essentially do a live stream podcast, but convince myself that I couldn't do this. So the fact that I'm doing this is so freaking cool to me. I figured that maybe some of you follow me on Instagram, but you don't really know who I am and what I've been through. So if you're new here, like I said, hi, I'm Georgia. I've been an online women's only transformation coach for going on 5 years now. February will be 5 years, which is absolutely wild to me. And I have gone from being diagnosed as overweight and obese to maintaining, I want to say I'm maintaining around 30 kilos less than what I was when I was diagnosed as obese to now, which is like, if you pick up a 30 kilo dumbbell in the gym, that's a lot. So pretty proud of myself for doing that. I have been able to help women lose ridiculous amounts of weight and actually be able to sustain that lifestyle, sustain that progress, and pretty much fall in love with themselves. As a coach, that is probably the most rewarding thing that I can do. And seeing women fall in love with who they are is really freaking cool. And it's literally the best job in the world. It is not like, coaching is hard, but the job is so rewarding that it makes everything else so worthwhile. So that's been me for the last 5 years. Prior to that, you would never catch me in the gym. You would never catch me training. I used to complain about walking to school. I used to be late to school every day. I used to be the most unhealthy, unfit, lazy sack of shit that you have ever seen. I probably should preface as well, if you don't like swearing or you don't like me talking like or calling myself a sack of shit, probably you need to get used to that, but that's fun. Anyway, so yeah, been a coach for 5 years, was overweight and obese, have struggled with my fair share of mental health struggles. I am currently also still in the process of navigating all of that, learning a lot about myself, and 2025 is going to be a really big year for me in terms of navigating all of that. So I'm sure as this podcast develops, as this podcast grows, I'll be able to share a lot more about those struggles and those wins and trying to just honestly be the best, most healthiest person I can be. So a little bit more about me. I'm a wife and I'm a dog mom. My family are literally my world. We're a family of 3. We are not a family of 4 anytime soon. The podcast will now probably be the first place to know when that is happening, but that is not anytime soon. And this kind of leads me, great segue, Georgia, applause for me, great segue into what I actually want to talk about today. I feel like this first podcast, yes, it's a little bit about a get to know me, get to just introduce the podcast to the world and really just try and set the foundations for what this is going to become. I have some amazing guests already lined up and it's day 1 and there is a spider on my leg. What the fuck? I'm not even shitting you. But I have some amazing guests already lined up and it's day one. Like, that's insane to me. And I have already set out some really freaking crazy goals for this podcast and what I want this to become. They're not going to be Joe Rogan length. They're not going to be a 3-hour long podcast. They're not going to be a 10-minute long podcast. They're going to be enough that if you are on a walk right now, that this podcast will maintain you through your entire walk. Nothing burns me more than being on a podcast and being like, oh my God, it's only 10 minutes and I was so getting into that and it's been cut short. We're going to give you the whole thing. We've got some great guests coming up. I do have a lot of travel planned in 2025. The podcast will be going on the road, which is really cool. So stay tuned. There will be a lot coming. I suck at keeping a secret. So if something exciting happens, you're probably going to know about it in real time. But coming into what I really wanted to talk about, I really wanted to talk about the 4 lessons that we still need to know and apparently still need to be reminded of in 2024. Despite everything that we see on social media, despite everything that we're ever taught as women, from our parents, from our siblings, from our friends, from social pressures and all of these things, despite everything that we've taught, we apparently still need to be reminded of these lessons in 2024. And the first one is, I don't care who you are. I don't care how well you know someone. I don't care how long you've been friends with someone. I don't care how you're related to someone. You do never, ever, 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 ever comment on a woman's body. Should I say that again? You never comment on a woman's body. In the last month alone, if you were at my last event, you know exactly what happened. I saw a family member who I probably haven't seen for about 6 months. And within the first 30 seconds of our conversation, she placed her hand on my belly and she asked me, are you pregnant? And my whole world crumbled. This was 2 days before my live event. So it went from super excited to super anxious and nervous about standing in front of a crowd of women presenting, because apparently I looked pregnant to someone who hadn't seen me in 6 months. And another story as well, I was at the gym yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago, and I physically was told this story and I literally wanted to go and find this man and egg his car, even though I have no idea who it is. He told the gym receptionist that, oh, you don't look really good in shorts. You shouldn't actually wear shorts to the gym. And when she was telling me this story, she nearly burst into tears. And I'm just baffled, literally mind blown, that people think that they can still have an opinion, still have a say, still feel that they are allowed and okay to comment on a woman's body. Anyone's body, let's just put it out there, anyone's body, anyone's weight, anyone's physical appearance, whatever it is. Why are we still doing that? How have people not learned that that is not okay? It's even like going into the whole famous world right now, like me acting like as if I'm best friends with Ariana Grande, but the amount of hate that I'm seeing online with her and her body around this whole Wicked press tour is actually insane. Like, she is just a girl doing her thing, living her best life. But because she has so many eyes on her, people feel like they are allowed to have a say. We are not doing that. We're leaving that well and truly behind. And if you ever feel like you are about to judge someone based off their body, you feel like you're going to say something, pause for a second, take a deep breath and actually think about how you would feel if someone was saying that to you. How would you feel if someone came up to you who you hadn't seen in a really long time, put their hand on your stomach and asked you if you're expecting a baby, when really you just haven't taken a shit in 3 days and you've had a lot of fucking food that morning? So that's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is Instagram is a lie. We hear this all the time and it is so cliche that Instagram is a highlight reel. Instagram is a curated platform that I get to choose how I want people to perceive me. People don't see the days where I'm on the couch crying. People don't see the days when I'm struggling to get out of bed. People don't see the behind the scenes reality of my life, of Ariana Grande's life, of, I don't know why I keep going back to Ariana Grande. I'm so involved in this whole Wicked thing. I'm obsessed, but we're going to keep using her because she's a great example for all of this. We don't know the behind the scenes reality of her life. So why are we going to compare, lessen, and dim our light because of what someone else is posting online and actually manipulating the perceived reality that we have of them? Instagram pause, rewind. Instagram, we can take like 3,000 photos and post 2 out of those 3,000. It is because you haven't posed perfectly this way. You haven't sucked in your stomach this way. Your head's not turned right this way. You're not in the perfect position with the lighting. All of these things come into account when some people post their photos. To be fair, I am probably so lazy at this and probably could be better at this. at picking the perfect photo, but it happens and people will post what they want you to see of them. And the amount of people, the amount of new clients, the amount of current clients, the amount of women at our events, the amount of women that I speak to, my sisters, my friends, my family, all of these people who will compare themselves to women online based off a perceived reality that that person wants them to see of them is insane. So next time you want to hold back on something that you want to do, literally it's the biggest freaking like cliche because I held back on starting this podcast for how many years? Based off what I thought of myself online. Sounds really freaking dumb when I say it out loud, but it's a truth. So next time you're going to stop, next time you're not going to do something, next time you're going to tell yourself that you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough because this person online is doing this and you're not doing this, just think about what their actual reality life is like. What are they doing when the camera's away? What are they doing at 9 p.m. at night? What are they doing at 6 a.m. in the morning? You never fully know. So just understanding that you don't need to be comparing yourself to someone else based off their, is that plane going to like be involved? No. You don't need to be comparing yourself just based off someone's Instagram profile. The third thing that I want you to remember, okay, I said the last point was the biggest cliche. This one's definitely the biggest one, is the perfect time does not exist. If someone had have told me that in 2021 about starting this podcast, I probably would have laughed in your face, which I probably in now reality will be like, I should have freaking done because I could have been 3 or 4 years into this podcast, which would have been really, really cool. Anywho, we're not talking about that. But the perfect time to start the thing that you want to start, whether that's a podcast, a health and fitness journey, a weight loss journey, a new course, a new hobby, starting at a new gym, I don't know, whatever it may be that you want to do, the perfect time to start that does not exist because perfection does not exist. I feel like all of these are really like super cliche, but they're just something that we can forget about and we can really just be like, okay, like I'm not going to do this. I'm going to wait. It's like a New Year's resolution. I could have waited to start this in January in 2025. But then that's 4 weeks of content, 4 weeks of sharing, 4 weeks of getting really, really powerful people on this podcast because I said, I'm just going to wait till January and just start in the new year. What's wrong with starting today? What's wrong with actually being able to put aside the fact that I need to wait and just fucking go for it and just be ready? And I think especially a lot of people do this with like health and fitness journeys and weight loss journeys. So many women have been in my DMs lately being like, oh, I can't actually start coaching right now. I'm going to start in January because it's really hard right now. If you consistently stop waiting to start something because it's too hard, like good luck ever doing it because you're consistently going to find a reason to tell yourself that it is never going to be the right time. You are never going to be able to be ready. You are never going to be disciplined enough. You are never going to find the motivation because you're consistently waiting and consistently expecting other people to do the work. You're consistently waiting for someone else to tell you and to hold your hand and to guide you and to push you and to get you there that you're never going to find the right time to start because it doesn't exist. And then the final point that was And the final point that I think we still need to remember in 2024 is that you are your own biggest cock block. Literally, as women, we are the best. Like, I don't know about anyone else. I'm going to speak for myself 100% because I pride myself on this. I am the best cock block of a guy in a club thinking that he has a chance with my best friend, and she gives me those eyes when she tells me, like, I need your help right now. This guy is coming way too close to me. I need you to, like, yeet him away, and I need you to, like, get him out of my space. I'm the best person at deterring this man from thinking he ever has a chance with my best friend. However, in the same breath, I'm also the best person at cock-blocking myself from doing so many things that I wanted to start. There are so many things that I have wanted to do in my life that I have waited because I've cock-blocked myself. I've convinced myself that I'm not good enough. I've convinced myself that I'm not ready. I am not worthy. I am not able. I am not smart enough. I am not known enough. Whatever the excuse was, whilst I'm a great cock-block from stopping this guy from ever thinking he has a chance with my friend, I'm also the same at doing it to myself. And literally, I can guarantee there are so many people being like, yep, that's me as well, because we are all so freaking good at it and convincing ourselves to the point where we truly believe it that we are actually not good enough, ready enough, worthy enough, smart enough, whatever it is, whatever that lie is that you've told yourself, we have all convinced ourselves that that is our reality and that we can cockblock ourselves to the point of missing out, never achieving something, never going on that trip, never being able to start the passion project, never being able to start the business, the journey, whatever it is. I could literally list a billion things, but I've blanked because I'm nervous and I'm sweating and all of these things. Guys, we should actually check my heart rate. We're at 95 beats per minute. That's how nervous I am right now. But there are just so many things that, one, I want to say and I want to be sharing along this journey of this podcast. Kind of cut that last one short. Don't be a cockblock. Go and do the thing that you want to do. Remind yourself that you cockblock yourself. So I wanted to let you all know a little bit more about what I've got in store next year for the events and the women's health community as a whole. There is going to be, at the moment, we've only done paid higher ticket price events, and we are going to be taking this to a whole other level of free events, low ticket events, and then also we're going to be keeping our live events, which is our community day that people know now. But our first event is going to be on the 11th of January. We have a regrounding walk on Port Melbourne Beach with Caitlin Manair, who will be our first guest on this podcast, which is so exciting. She was a speaker at our last event. Everyone loved listening to her talk. And personally, I take away so much from every time that she talks. So it's going to be really exciting to have her, one, on the podcast, two, hosting our first ever free event, which is going to be really exciting. Like I also mentioned, there is a lot of travel planned in 2025. I am going back to America. If you don't know or haven't followed me, or you're new to me, new to my world, whatever that may be, I competed in Texas this year, and I competed in a transformation category within the Summer Shredding Classic, which is Christian Guzman, owner of Alphaland, owner of Alphalete, his bodybuilding competition, and I competed in the transformation category, placing in the top 3, which qualified me to compete at the championship show this September 2025, which is like, 1, insane that I qualified to do this show. 2, fires me up so much to bring a completely new and improved package to that competition. And also, now that I have this platform, really excites me to potentially be able to speak to some really cool guests, have some really cool people on the podcast, some other competitors, some past competitors, potentially some of like the other influences that I see whilst I'm there. Because when I tell you at Alphaland and Alphalete Gym, they are everywhere. Like, they are just roaming around. Some people with like 1 million followers are just there, like, and they're so just down to earth and so willing and ready to talk to you. So I will definitely be trying to get some of them onto here. I have just some delusional goals. Let's just put that out there. For someone who has never hosted a podcast, for someone who has never been on a podcast in her life, she has some pretty freaking delusional goals for this platform and for this space. And I think it excites me, and it makes me so nervous to my stomach. Like, I have butterflies that I'm sitting here and I'm literally just in a room solo, talking to a microphone, looking at a camera. And I think it's going to be really cool, and it's going to challenge me. It's going to excite me. It's such a passion that I've wanted to do, and such a platform that I've wanted to create and put content out on. And I think it's going to be super exciting. So 2025 is going to be looking really exciting for the women's health community. And definitely, if you find or you think that there is someone who would also love to be a part of this community, share this podcast with them. Send them our Instagram. It's womenshealth.community, and just encourage everyone you know to be a part of this space. It is not just for the girls that go to the gym. It is not just for the girls who want to track their macros, or who want to lose weight, or who want to build muscle, or who want to step on stage. It is so much more than that. And it is literally for women of all walks of life who literally just want to be seen and heard. And I think when you look at podcasts in this health and fitness space, yes, there are some amazing podcasts run by amazing women within this industry, but there are also a lot more podcasts of like these super gym bro buff men who talk about things like steroids, like training, like hypertrophy, and use all these big fucking fancy words, which we don't care about. Reality. If I'm listening to a podcast on my morning walk at 9 a.m. in the morning, going to get a coffee while my dog's being a fucking psycho walking around, I don't want to listen to some dude literally tell me that I shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z, but we should be doing this, this, this. I want a podcast where I'm literally chatting to my best friend on a walk, and that is what this is going to be. We are just going to be chatting as if it is a group of girls, currently a solo girl, but just as if I'm chatting to like how I would chat to my best friend. And I think if this is your chance to call me out. If you ever see me turning into someone that I am not, you all can definitely be like, whoa, hold on, call me out, let me know. Because that's not me. I'm not going to be the person here sitting here being like, this is what you should do. I know that I'm right. I know that I'm the best. I think it's going to be a lot more than that, and it's going to be such a safe space, just as my events are. I feel like a really important and powerful part of our events is that women leave feeling seen and heard. And women don't come into the space, women don't enter the space feeling intimidated. They feel like they're equal. And I think that is just as much as what I want this space to be. And I want it to be an equal space where you could be on this podcast. Anyone could be on this podcast. And it's not just I'm better than, or I'm more than, or I'm more worthy than. It's whoever wants to be here can be here. And I think it's an equal space and an equal playing field, which is really cool. Our first episode, our first chance to just you guys to hear my voice. Hopefully you like my voice. There's nothing more annoying than listening to a podcast when you don't like the person's voice. However, if you don't like my voice, you're going to continue listening, because the guests that I have coming up on this podcast, there are going to be women that you know, women that you follow, women with huge followings, women that I can guarantee you will never have heard of in your life, who have some freaking incredible stories that need to be heard and need to be shared. And I just hope that you're as excited as I am, because I have some, like I said, some delusional plans for this podcast. But that is all I've got for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the first episode. Hopefully I don't cringe as much as I think I will looking back at this, and in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, even in a year's time, once I'm a lot more confident in this space and doing this, and hopefully it's not as bad as I think it might be. But anyway, I probably shouldn't say that. I probably shouldn't be hating on myself on episode 1. I've wanted to do this for 4 years and I'm doing it. So go me, pats on the back to me. But that is all I've got for you. We will see you next week, and make sure you like, subscribe, share this podcast with someone who you think will benefit from it. And we'll see you next week.